Oh my gosh. I just filmed for like 6 straight minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're just sitting here talking to a camera, it's kind of a long time. And I looked up and realized my camera wasn't recording that entire time. So let's start over. Hello and welcome. My name is Allison, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the process of deciding to home educate our son. This is part 2 of a 2-part series, I guess. Part 1 talked more about our decision-making process in deciding to switch our son from public school into home education. And in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the logistics of it and like how we made the switch and the decisions we made. Once we decided to do it, what are we going to do next? So the first aspect of this was deciding when to switch him, because for us, we were in the middle of a school year. It had been 3 months of first grade for him, and we were coming up on November. So at the end of November here, we have a fall break for Thanksgiving. And then there's also Christmas break, a 3-week break at the end of December / beginning of January. And so we had these 2 breaks coming up, and we felt like, oh, we could take advantage of that and kind of transition him from public school into home school after one of those breaks, so that it was a little bit of a smoother transition. It didn't feel like we were just pulling him out in the middle of a week or anything like that. And I also felt good about that decision, just for the fact that we could do a little bit of deschooling and not have to immediately jump into some kind of homeschool curriculum or anything like that. We were able to just kind of take a break and do nothing for a while. So the second aspect of this how decision-making process was to decide if we were going to do our own curriculum, enroll with some kind of setup curriculum, or even enroll in something like, a homeschool system, which is what we ended up going with. Here in California, where we live, there is a charter school called Inspire Charter Schools, and they're all over California. We're lucky to have one in our town, and it's a public school, a public charter school that you enroll with, and they basically help you homeschool your child however it is that you feel you want to structure that. They give you backup and resources for that. And so finding Inspire was kind of an answer for me, because that was the most daunting part for me, was feeling like we're taking this thing, my child's education, that thus far has been kind of other people's responsibility in a sense, just from the point of view that somebody else is doing the prep and the teaching and the classroom work, not me. And I'm taking that onto my shoulders now. And so that felt daunting, just having really no idea how to go about that. And I tend to be kind of a scattered person. I like organization, but it doesn't come particularly easy for me. I'm not naturally organized. And so I worried that if I just tried to dive in on my own, that it would be a struggle for both me and for Ashton. And so we decided to go with Inspire Charter Schools, and I'm so thankful. We're able to meet with a homeschool teacher. Each student is given a homeschool teacher, and they kind of help you along with your progress. They track to make sure that your child is making some progress, and they're just a backup and a support to you as the teacher, as the teaching parent. And so that was great. We met with her during the Thanksgiving break, and she kind of ran through all of the resources that are available to us, and we got to pick curriculums based on how we wanted to structure it at home, which, because of my organization desires, I did desire to go with some type of curriculum, even though I do feel very drawn to an unschooling structure. I believe that is just the way the mind of a child works, that they just learn from every aspect of living their lives, from sheer curiosity, asking questions, trying things, finding answers, playing with each other. That I feel is the best education for a child. And so we are doing a bit of a homeschool structure with a variety of different curriculums available as resources. I decided to not really follow a curriculum that kind of lays out an agenda and has marks to hit. But I did buy some curriculum resources to have available, and we will use those as directed by Ashton's interests. So during that week of Thanksgiving break, we were able to just do a bit of deschooling. And what that means is we just kind of did nothing. And I think that's a valuable process when you're switching from a highly structured system like a public school, where their days are just very laid out and there are lots of marks to hit, lots of hoops to jump through. And then when you're going to be moving into a completely different structure, and in our case, something that is very, very much less structured, I felt that it was necessary to have a kind of relaxing period where we just kind of did nothing that resembled school. We still did learning, but it was things like, you know, he enjoys math facts, so I would write a few math facts on our chalkboard and he'd fiddle with those, you know, but it wasn't at all like a lesson. He would help me measure things for baking. We'd talk about that, and fractions and parts of a whole, you know, just very basic things, but really no structure to it at all. And we ended up doing that kind of for the first week after Thanksgiving break too. So I feel we had a very nice kind of 2-week break from switching out of public school before we really started to do any sort of curriculum-based learning for our homeschool program. And I feel like that was very valuable for us to just kind of leave it all behind and start anew. I think that pretty much sums it up of how we switched into a homeschooling system. If anybody watching this might have any questions about our process, I'm happy to answer those in the comments. Just leave me a comment. If there's anything you want to know about our process or our curriculums, I thought I might do another video at a later point talking about the certain curriculum resources that I did end up picking that I felt would support kind of an unschooling structure and yet still give us a little bit of a direction on days that we need it. So yes, that does it for this part 2 of how we switched our son to homeschool. Thank you so much for watching. I would invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, whatever you're doing. See you in my next one. Bye.